Welcome to a new episode of the Film Rescue Show. We're all in the same room!
Oh my god, it's been like 2 years. Yeah.
Hi!
Was the last thing we did was Freddy Got Fingered, wasn't it? Before
The commentary,
Yeah, the commentary track, yeah.
Available only on our Patreon, by the way. You have to go check it out there.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is a masterpiece. I will fight tooth and nail for that.
It's in the Criterion Collection. That's what
Yes.
matters.
That is the
what
best.
matters.
I don't know who had to suck someone's dick to do that, but that is the best feeling in the world.
Apparently that whole... Did you read the blurb for that new dump of movies? Mm-mm. So it was Criterion's kind of like response to the Razzies of like, bad movies are film history too, guys.
Oh, yeah, for
We're
sure.
part of film history. Just because everything we pick is like artsy doesn't mean that we only pick artsy stuff.
That's
so
fair.
They pulled in a full like Razzies list.
So that's why Armageddon's in the
That's
Criterion.
Armageddon's in it. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Makes sense now.
Celebrate the bad movies too. I think The Room should have been part of that. Honestly.
Oh, it'll get
that
there.
is The Room is its own thing, though. Like,
It's The Room is so popular, it'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
I guarantee it'll get
I
there.
hope so, man. I want the Criterion Blu-ray. I just want the little C on the room and be like, "Yes, sir, Tommy Wiseau, you did it."
You did it.
oh my god.
Well, let's talk about something that should definitely be on this list of the Criterion.
Oh,
It is actually. This
is it?
This apparently Criterion on the Criterion channel. There's a black and white edition of this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna watch that, and I worked long hours yesterday, and I got home, and you had already rented the color version.
I did.
And then I just kind of said, "No, fuck it."
Damn, I rented this on YouTube, and now I regret because I have the Criterion Pass.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
shit.
I have Criterion as I just completely forgot. So I watched the color version. I can see how this would work better in black and white, though.
Oh yeah, I could see that, but the audience doesn't know what we're talking about yet. We're talking about Johnny Mnemonic, directed by Robert Longo.
What year did this come out?
This came out in 1995.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got 2021 exactly correct.
Oh man, this movie aged real well.
Freaked me out when I heard the date again, and I was like, oh no.
2021 Beijing riots. I was like, how'd they call that?
2021, pandemic hits the planet. Like, this is rough.
Scary.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's like it makes people convulse.
Yeah, just the whole everything, and it's affecting the cities, and then like the rich aren't as affected because they have all this extra stuff, and it just
they can literally augment their bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
Corporations run literally everything. Like, yeah, we hit that point finally.
Yeah.
Someone was talking with Matt Groening.
There's a lot of good stuff in this movie. However, it is on Film Rescue for a reason.
Yep.
Before we dive into why, let me introduce my lovely hosts. We have the Horror live and in person. How was your flight in?
Yeah, I literally just got in this morning. I was at work, went from work straight to the airport. Now, I will say, funny thing, I was wearing a different shirt at work. And when I was at the airport, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna I randomly closed my eyes and picked a shirt out of my bag. And just how happens to be a Heavy Seas Baltimore, Maryland brewery shirt. Did not plan that.
How high are the odds, though, of your shirts? How many of them are Baltimore breweries?
I have the one.
Okay, so this is low odds.
So that's very low odds.
The rest is like either... Weirdly enough, the rest is either like very kawaii shorts or very horror shirts. There's no like in between.
Or Star Wars.
Or Star Wars.
Or Star Wars, yeah.
Well, it's a mix because some Star Wars shirts are kawaii or they're horror.
That's
but
true.
You know,
Yeah, I go for a kawaii Boba Fett. We also have a professional cynic here.
I'm here.
Jesse,
Yes.
you didn't have to fly anywhere to be here.
No, but I had to pick her up. So.
he had to fly to the airport to get me.
Yeah.
And I'm your Pitchmaster General Seth. I winged in from the West Coast just to be here. I'm 3 hours behind, and I'm drinking caffeine. Probably not a great idea, but it's definitely good for this one because there aren't many episodes we get to do where I get to go in against a director's talent.
You've been biting at for this. Like you've just been waiting
there aren't. We talk about directors a lot in reference to their filmography and like to what their teams do. We don't often get to go into like what the individual job is and how it affects things on a movie. And it's the job I'm most interested in on a set. So watching this and going into some of the behind the scenes and finding out what all this man has done sans this film is going to be a good one. But let's get into what we liked about this. First of all, I mean, we started off in... I feel like the first 20 minutes of this movie are gas. Had you watched this before? Was this your first time, or was this already on your list?
No, this was my first time.
Ooh.
So it's been one of those films where it's on Film Rescue for a reason, and it's been one of those where I like just instinctively knew like just avoid it, just
put it off
avoid
until it's
it.
work.
Exactly. So then it's like a double whammy when I actually watch it.
Yeah. Originally, we were supposed to have Vic on because I think Vic said he was interested in this, and then he just doesn't answer his messages. Vic, if you're watching, answer your fucking text messages, dude. Jesus Christ.
This being the last season, we sent a blast out to all the previous guests, and I sent them the list. I was like, you don't get to pick your pitch this year.
Yeah.
And so some of the movies got a little kicked down the line.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one, though, because there's so much in it. So first impressions, like, you obviously avoided this going into it. Did it grab you at any point? Was there any point where you were like, wait a second, should this be on Film Rescue?
I mean, I was very torn because there was the storyline is actually really good. It really grasps you, but at the same time, it's like I think what hurt me the most is I know these actors and I'm like, oh, they can do so much better. I feel like so. Honestly, it just made me think of the Whitest Kid You Know sketch, Happier and With Your Mouth Open. like that is what I felt like the entire time. It's like you had a great scene, beautiful, and it's like, no. Happier and With Your Mouth Open. And then you just took these great actors and dropped them 20 pegs. Like,
right.
I think that's what hurt me the most.
Since it's Star Wars month, it's like the George Lucas saying faster, more intensity. It's like, when that's your only direction, then you got a problem there. Jeez.
It's like there's a cadence they're aiming for that's like really, really, really fast, and then it gets all the information out, but with all the emotion that you want into this.
It just drains the soul out
now,
of it.
Jesse, I have a question for you about this.
Yeah.
How many times did you have to change your pants when Henry Rollins came on the screen?
That's one of my positives. That Henry Rollins in this movie, and he's great. Yeah. Henry Rollins and Dina Meyer. I would say Dina Meyer, even though she's not given a lot to do, I like seeing her in movies.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I agree. But I know you have, like, a fascination with Henry Rollins. So, like, as soon as the first time he came on screen, I'm like, well, Jesse loves this.
His least interesting element of his career is his acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mainly his music and his talking shows and his books that I really like, and his music. That's his acting stuff is like he's there mainly as a job. He's even admitted he just like his little bit in Bad Boys 2. He did it because they paid him. That was it. It was to get him some money so he could travel. That was it. He didn't care. Dude, I don't think he even watched the movie.
Probably.
And he would outright hate the movie too because it's that movie's very pro cops and he hates cops. It's like, so yeah.
I will never forget running back through the Wrong Turn series and just getting to 2 and just cheering the whole time.
Oh man, there he is.
Not only is he in 2, but he turns into Rambo. They just make him like.
Oh yeah, they make him an action hero. Yeah. He's only in the second one, right?
Yeah, only the second one.
That's right, yeah.
Because his character gets killed at the end.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. I remember he actually got asked to do a signing by that director, and he's like, I don't want to do signings, I don't do this. And the director just had to, like, beg and plead with him, and he finally did a signing at a convention. That's the only time he's ever done a convention.
Huh. Okay.
He was there for, like, 3 hours, signed a couple of DVDs, and he just walked.
A singular favor.
Yeah, I do this one time, and then I'm not doing it anymore.
On his terms.
He's cool in this. I think he looks really good with glasses.
Like, yes!
That's it. That's his... not Rollins Band. Was it Rollins Band? What's the music video? A Liar. What was that? Where he has the really thick glasses. Yeah, it's that one. I think it's not Rollins Band. Was it Black Flag?
Maybe.
I don't remember.
It's funny to me that's their move to make him look nerdy enough that you accept him as like a doctor.
Yeah.
Because he's got like back tattoos and
fucking ripped
and just hard as fuck.
Well, it reminds me of Lisbeth Salander from the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, where the first time you see her, she's like, yes, our tech is here. And you walk in and she's like goth boots and like spiked hair and tattoos and piercings everywhere. I'm like, that's your tech, huh? Oh, okay. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility now. That's normal now.
Yeah, but back then
it was like, that's the future? Like, well, they got that right. This actually got a lot of things correct. A lot of things correct.
The screenplay's good.
Yeah,
The screenplay's very functional.
It's just the direction that's the problem. And this is based on a short story by William Gibson. This is in the Neuromancer universe. This is a companion story to Neuromancer.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell because what did people not have in this movie? Cell phones. No cell phones. That's one thing the Neuromancer got wrong. There are no cell phones, all hard lines.
Video. It was like all like video screen.
Yeah, back when that was a big thing where you could get a video screen for your phone, and you could then send one to a friend. You could talk to each other on the phone, and nobody bought it because it's like, that's weird to see the person you're talking to. It's so weird. Now it's normal.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
we're doing this now.
This is around the same. Jesse, you're gonna hate me right now, but this is around the same time when the original Pokemon came out, and they had hard landlines, but it was video screens where you picked up the receiver but talked into the screen. And it was like ring, 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 phone call, phone call, and it was like so like everything's along the same realm. Like they all thought it would be hardwired video screens.
Yeah, Blade Runner had that as well. Like, Blade Runner had the video screen when he's in the club. Yeah.
Which I think is funny because they all did that, but then you look at Star Trek and they're like, no. It's
all video chat. It's
or it's like all comms, you know.
Or comms,
so,
yeah.
But the wireless aspect, I think, doesn't allow for the lived-in universe part. Because one of my favorite parts of this movie is the set design. Like, these are really, really unique. Like, the wires are run through everything.
TVs everywhere, yeah.
Oh, the TV Christmas tree at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I love that visual.
That became a very cliched visual. Like, every music video from the 90s used that fucking image.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one. Not a single person excluded. Every person used that.
And, that back then, it was kind of like a protesty, like, people didn't want more screens, but the young people wanted more screens.
Yeah.
It was like, we're going to show you a future where it's nothing but screens, bitch.
Well, we're there.
Here we are, baby. I'm in your phone.
How many screens right here? We have a TV. We have 2 laptops. Everybody has a cell phone, and there's another TV that's probably upstairs.
Dude, there's a
it's a screen.
LED screen in the fucking thermometer.
Yeah, and on the wall.
There's refrigerators with screens in them now.
Sent from my Samsung fridge.
Yes.
There's TV screens at the fucking gas station. Like, why? I'm standing there for about maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
you know, it's we really have to catch up on that 411 on nothing you care about.
Yep.
So
I need that hottest celebrity gossip while I'm
right.
Guess.
I gotta know who attended the Met Gala so I can ignore them. I need a human-sized slap chop right now, please.
Oh my god.
Although
yes, please.
Apparently the Met Gala, nobody got the assignment correct. It was like apparently supposed to be like Snow White Enchanted Forest theme or something, and nobody got the theme whatsoever.
Wasn't it? I thought it was based on a poem or like a short story or something like that.
I don't follow the Met Gala stuff.
I don't care either.
I mean, it made a lot of people angry.
There's a girl at work who, like, her side job is literally not a real side job, but all she does is follow celebrity gossip. Ugh. It's like that's her guilty pleasure.
Oh, okay.
It's her guilty pleasure. She
hates to know these people.
Exactly. She's like, I need to feel better about myself. I need to know the chaos. And so she like dove into the Met Gala.
I'm sure the chaos somehow offsets them making 7 figures a year.
Everything I know about the Met Gala, I think I learned from Ocean's 8. Pretty good movie. It was all right.
Still haven't watched it. I watched the original trilogy, and I was like, I think I'm kind of done.
It's set in that universe.
Sure.
Johnny Mnemonic, what are we saving if you had a list of, like, we must keep these things?
Henry Rollins
must stay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm also very pro Dolph Lundgren staying. I think we have the most opportunity with this character.
Yeah, he's just not used efficiently in the movie. He just kind of appears halfway through.
But is he not, like... I thought he was the most prescient of all the characters in the film because he's a super alpha male religious nut job.
That's just fully robotic.
That is
filled with technology,
but covers it up from other people to be able to see.
Yeah.
I love how they just nailed the like MAGA Republican of the future. His best line in the whole fucking movie: Jesus time. Like, oh my god, I loved his character. I feel like he could have been the villain through the whole thing. Like,
he should have been.
Yeah, you could have tracked him as a villain through the
whole thing. As much as I love Udo Kier, though, because he oozes villain. Yeah. Like, I love him, but I do feel like once Dolph showed up on screen, he stole the show a bit. Yeah. So,
I mean,
he's not a bad actor. He's just taken a lot of bad roles. That's the problem.
I'd say he's a pretty talented actor if he's paired with the right director.
And he's, and he's a genius too. He's got like a doctorate degree in chemical engineering. Like, the guy is intelligent. He's in great shape. Like, he really should be higher on the list of like actors, and he just keep thinking Drago the whole time. It's just, you can't escape that. You are that guy.
The long hair helped. It really framed his
face.
Yeah. He looked different.
It took me a second to figure, and then I was like, hold on. Oh shit! Like it did. I had to do a double take.
I wouldn't be shocked to find out that Sabretooth's design from the first X-Men movie borrowed a little bit from this.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh yeah.
Just big buff guy.
There's a weird kind of cyberpunk feel to that movie. It's kind of strange. Yeah, like the design of the X Mansion, the underground looks a little cyberpunky. It's interesting.
Well, it was made around the same.
Yeah, it was
time.
Yeah, they shot that in '98, I think. Yeah, and it came out in '99, 2000, something like that.
That sounds right.
Yeah, sounds right. Something like that.
Damn, what a time! Everything was like cyberpunk coded back then. Just the metal doors of the X Mansion closing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think Y2K. That was like the most prescient thing. So obviously they're gonna lean heavy into that.
Yeah.
And the Days did that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh god, we are not going to talk about End of Days. That was a previous film rescue episode. We're
so
not going to talk about that.
Time zones. What time does the apocalypse occur in each time zone?
That's when we had Daryl on for that. That was his pick.
Yeah, that was his pick.
We won't talk about that one until this summer for the Schwarzenegger event.
Yes,
it will pop up. We won't go as in depth on it.
I'll do the whole thing of like, hey, here's the downfall of the career.
Right.
Here's the junk.
Oh, what about you? What are you keeping? What your first watch? What has stood out most to you? That's like, okay, I need this.
Honestly, I want to see more guard action. So we have these bodyguards, like Udo Kier's guards, and then like Keanu Reeves,
the transvestite bodyguards.
But then just that whole thing of like these techish bodyguards. Yeah. I was getting Lady Deathstrike feels from all of them.
Oh, yeah.
And I liked that. I was like, yes, let's lean into this. I loved that idea.
Yeah. I could see that for sure. And, like, this is an era when comics of the time are, like, really out there, too. Like, that mid-90s. Mm-hmm. You bring up Lady Deathstrike and, like, X-Men, I remember from the 90s specifically. Like, the shows were very childlike. The comics were really adult.
Yeah. And that's and also the season just ended of X-Men 97, so like everything X-Men is fresh in my mind right now.
Yeah, it ain't for kids now.
No. And I love it.
Kind of shocked they put that one out on Disney Plus. You know what I mean?
Well, they got one season with the original creator, and now they're going to see what they do now.
Well, he partially did season 2, and they actually just wrapped voice acting. Yeah, she was like, just wrapped my acting for season 2. This is actually really good, guys. Like, stay tuned. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but it's the one thing is, like, you were like, oh, I'm surprised this is even on Disney, and I'm like, if you actually get the VPN and go to other countries for Disney Plus, there's rated R stuff all over the place.
I've pointed that out before. I was trying to find Legion at one point, and it's only on Hulu. It's still not on Disney Plus, but if you get a VPN, you get all the Fox stuff, you get the Alien movies, Die Hard, everything is available on Disney Plus outside of America. It's just parents groups in America. Like, it's Disney, it's for children. It's like, watch this new season of X-Men. It ain't for kids.
No, not at all.
It ain't for kids. Like, there's like Wolverine got his fucking skeleton ripped out. It's like, this ain't for kids.
I'm really curious how they maintain that idea that Disney's for kids when Disney's not been for kids for a long time.
It hasn't been
like they have a wing for children's stuff. But like
the Black Widow movie, they literally talk about hysterectomies, and they make a joke out of it, which was fucking weird. That was creepy.
I'm sorry, there's more Disney adults out there than Disney children.
Yeah, like they
have
keep
you
making
seen
shit for kids.
Have you seen the cult of Disney adults? It's actually kind of creepy.
Yeah,
It can be scary.
kids these days don't give a shit about Disney. Let's just be honest. They give a shit about like SpongeBob and Paw Patrol. That's what they care about. They don't give a fuck about Disney. Disney is so outdated to them that they just don't even resonate with it. The new Tron movie is not going to be for them. It's for us.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Not with Jerry.
Well, yeah, not for me either. Like I was like, I got two. I'm good. I'm done.
For the generation.
Yeah, but the previous generation is not. It is not going to gravitate towards anything made for kids now, and kids are not going to gravitate towards anything that was made for us back then.
Yeah.
There's just this giant disconnect between the two. It's like, just stop trying to make stuff for kids. And now with Deadpool 3 on the way, it's going to have hard R violence, swearing, sex. Like, they're going to have to finally just say, all right, fine, we'll get
MCU Jesus.
We're going to get MCU Jesus in there.
So let's run through the plot of the movie before we shift over into maybe the more negative section.
Well, no, but what would you keep, dear?
Dolph Lundgren.
That's it. Just Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, I mean, like
Nobody's saying Keanu Reeves. I'm kind of interested with it.
This is hingent on if we have to keep this director or not.
Fair.
Because if we have to keep this director, honestly, I want to just like cast nobodies and let people like rip, roar, and tear at it because it is almost insulting to the actors the line reads that they picked.
Yeah.
So I would keep Keanu Reeves if we were gonna change directors out. I would keep the whole cast. I don't really have an issue with any of the cast.
It's just bad direction, like you said.
Yeah.
It's just bad direction.
100%.
The lighting overall excellent. Like
it's not a bad looking movie. It's just because of the shot composition, the shot choices, the editing gets fucked up.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And I would keep the entire plot. Like, the plot has all the makings of greatness.
Yes.
We know what the problem is. He's got too much shit in his head
and
a limited time to get it out.
Have we made it this far without talking about Cyberpunk 2077? It's the same fucking plot.
Right. Yeah,
it's literally the same fucking plot. Why do you think Keanu Reeves was cast to be in that game? It's the same plot.
Yeah.
Literally the same plot.
Necromancy is, like, part of the neuromancy.
Neuromancy,
yeah. Being a big part of that universe. Like, cooler ideas could be extracted from this, I'd argue.
Yeah.
Just watch the animated show on Netflix.
Yeah, I've not checked that out, but everybody I talk to says it's excellent.
So good.
Yeah.
Please check it out.
Everyone
so
says
good.
it's actually better than the game.
Yeah, no, by far.
The
By
game's
far.
good now. The game's good.
You say it's good now. You could say it's game of the year. I ain't going back to it. Ever played the Phantom Liberty expansion? Not interested.
I understand.
Just watch the show. You're good.
I'll just watch the show. I'm good.
The plot being our main character Johnny Smith.
His name is Mr. Smith. I love this coincidence.
I died when
Yeah.
I heard that.
It's funny in the hotel when somebody else calls out his name to get his attention, Mr. Smith, and then Neo responds, and you're like,
Fuck.
wait a second.
Technically, it's not inaccurate.
If only someone else was named like Anderson, because that would have been his like human name, his Matrix name.
Yeah.
If only.
That'd be funny.
Oh my god! Speaking of cyberpunk shit, my friend Patricia just saw this in the parking lot of her job.
Oh my god!
It's a Cybertruck.
Of course.
What a piece of shit!
Course.
My fucking god!
A fucking low polygon ass looking PS2 graphics car driving up.
Lara Croft's CGI triangle boobs look better than that car.
Bro, it's. You might as well get a Be Kind Rewind sticker and put it on the back. Because it just looks like a fucking VHS tape rolling down the street.
Oh god,
that's fantastic.
That just to go off on a tangent. I love hearing all of the rich fucks just complaining about how the Cybertruck is a piece of shit. It's like it's made in with cheap Chinese hardware, and of course it's broken.
Yeah,
For a con artist.
It's a con, you idiots.
Like one woman almost died because she ran into a lake with it, and she's like, I couldn't escape.
Oh god.
I was
Death
like,
trap machine.
yeah.
No thanks.
Stainless steel with no clear coat. The thing fucking rusts in a fucking day, dude. Dude, how are you so? You know what, America? Fuck it. You all deserve to fail. You all deserve what you get.
I love how uninterested Johnny Mnemonic is in vehicles and stuff. The one car that it's important to the plot is Henry Rollins' car.
Yeah.
Snyder's car, and it's this just mystery machine
Yes.
decked out with shit on top of it.
Yeah.
And they just call it the van. It's just Spider's van.
Yeah, it's so recognizable. It's known as Spider's van.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plot being Johnny Smith, he has the cure. We won't say for COVID. He has a cure for NAS, which is the sickness.
Was it neural attenuation syndrome?
Right.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's there's too much technology in your body, and your body can't process it, which would happen because people have tried to have cybernetic implants implanted into their bodies, and the problem is people don't realize, oh, your body's made of 75% water. It's metal. It rusts.
Yeah.
So you get really sick. That's the one thing where we haven't quite figured out how to do that. Unless you can make it out of plastic, it's going to be a problem.
Or grow the new parts. That's the other part.
Or make it
Hey,
you know.
my shoulder's robotic.
It's true. Yeah.
It's got a servo in there for throwing grenades.
Dude, yeah. When I was going through PT with it, it literally went
Wow.
like I was like, where's the oil to grease this up?
I feel like the Tin Man just...
Yes, exactly.
I
So
do.
hey, we're getting there.
I do love the fact that the movie tries to imply that 320 gigabytes of memory is somehow a really big file now.
That was a lot in 95.
Fallout
Hey.
76 is a bigger file.
Hey, this is back in floppy disk territory.
Oh, I
okay? When floppy disks could rule the world.
Yeah, like you were saying, like the lived-in world, like we didn't realize, oh, it's all just going to be digital. We're not going to have physical media in the future. It's like, physical media is being phased out. We just went through physical media month, like trying to find physical media in the future. That's like what they thought it was going to be. No discs. Discs are gone. Like my laptop doesn't even have a disk drive. It does, yeah.
It's funny to me that like they tried to future-proof the movie by making it gigabytes because that was an unrealistic.
Not
Yeah.
realizing that there's was it teraflops now?
Yeah, you can go even beyond the terabyte, and so if you make
is it petabytes or something like that? It's
Well,
it's a huge file.
well, we're even closer to like quantum hard drives.
Yeah,
than
like
any of
server
that, where
farms
it's
are
like-
enormous in
Yeah.
Silicon Valley.
Like it's an incalculable amount of data.
Yeah, there's less stars in the sky than there are like bytes of data on the planet or
I
something
love
like that.
making our ones and zeros.
Yeah,
I like the idea that it can like functionally hurt your brain though. That like
Yeah.
pumping too much data.
Yeah.
Because data is electricity, right? So like too
Yeah.
much electricity in an electrical
That's-
circuit.
yeah.
All you are is neurons firing, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah. I like all of that. I like the Yakuza being hired by both like the government and everyone else to do. They're just like basically assassin tradesmen.
You're telling me there's crime families involved with the government? You don't say.
Shocker.
Jesus.
We don't have that in history at
No,
all.
we've never hired mercenaries to do dirty work for the
Never.
government. Absolutely not. We would never do that.
I love that aspect. The low techs, I have to say, is probably the like cringiest part of the movie, but only in
Yeah.
execution. I don't think the idea is bad.
I think that's where society is going to start to move now that we have AI becoming a thing. Like, I remember seeing, I think it was like on TikTok, like, what does the future look like in 10 years? We're going to have a movement of people that are being like, they get away from social media. No screens, no technology, no AI, living off the grid, away from people. We do have that now. There's a place out in California called Slab City, where people that are just, they want to be away from society. I mean, those are questionable people.
Yeah.
those are people that are like probably convicts trying to escape the system. But my point is, we're going to have like entire communes dedicated to we live off the land, we're away from the system, we're not hardwired into anything.
Well, and as like mental health shifts over that period, I think about Better Call Saul, his brother having like his.
Oh yeah, his fear of technology and electricity,
Yeah, and like the way that presents.
and even though it's all just in his head, it's clear that because when he puts the batteries into his jacket pocket, he doesn't notice them.
Yeah.
It's all just a mental thing.
Yeah. But like that is a real thing for him to deal with day to day.
Yeah.
And I can see a world where it's like it's important to me to get into a apartment complex with no Wi-Fi signals, like just none at all, because then you can't access any of my stuff. Like
Yeah.
being able to have like signal detectors for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi
Yeah.
and things like
Yeah.
that to get away from it. And then on the other end of it, this movie, I don't know if it's the first one, but it has one of my favorite things in sci-fi, which is the inner DMT world of technology where it's just infinite spans of just visualization.
The cyberspace thing.
Cyberspace.
Yeah. Lawnmower Man did this thing too, which came out around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like we're still using it. The new Wreck-It Ralph
Yeah.
imagines the internet in exactly the same way.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I love how also everything is like basically a Rubik's cube that you have to solve to get through. It's not like
physical puzzles
it's not
so not how it
actual,
works.
like binary or anything. It's like, well, if I shake this and move this, then maybe I can.
Well, you gotta display it in some way, because one thing I've always been annoyed with is like hacking in movies. That's never how hacking works in the real world. It's like initiate hack. That is not how that works. Right. It is not how that works. It is, you have to go literally into the code of the system and change numbers and letters around to basically rebuild the system from the ground up and flip it upside down. It's very uninteresting visually.
Well, a lot of it has to do with like getting in and out of networks. Once you have access to a network, you can get into the.
You can put it in like an entryway, and you have no problem getting in and out.
I like what it does for the world building of this movie, though, because to me it implies that hackers are gamers. And then imagine like working for the CIA in this future.
Didn't Hackers, the movie, come out at the same time as this movie?
Right around. Yeah.
This was a big thing back in the 90s. Everyone thought this was like we'll take down the corporation and expose the truth. And everyone thought, if we do that, it'll change the world. And we see like the Pharmacom building on fire at the end. And we've exposed how much truth about our government in the last 15 years. And exposed a ton of shit about pharmaceutical companies overcharging, which they do in this movie as well.
Yep.
Has anything changed, or has it gotten worse?
What's changed is more people want to move out of the country.
Yeah, more people want to leave the country. It's like that's your only escape. Like there was an issue of Transmetropolitan, unfortunately written by Warren Ellis, who's a fucking asshole now. But Transmet, there's an issue where somebody I think is trying to do like a film or a TV show based on Spider Jerusalem's life, and they show like the visual interpretations of what they think, like the Hollywood version of what Spider looks like, and he looks like lanky and he's covered in tattoos. He barely ever wears a shirt. He's like Rick from Rick and Morty, but with no hair.
Oh my god.
He's like
it's Hunter Thompson. It's basically Hunter Thompson.
Rick from Universe 7215. Like
yeah, like the opening issue of Transmet, he looks like Alan Moore. Like he's just in his home, like getting away from society, living off in the mountains. And then he enters into a shower, and the shower backfires, and it shoots out electricity and not water, and it fries all the hair off his body, and he looks like Hunter Thompson. But there's an issue where they show like the film interpretation, and he's like muscles everywhere, and he's got beautiful women all around him, and there's a riot happening down where cops are beating down protesters against the government, and he like, I'm holding up the truth on a laptop, and all the cops throw their batons down and they all walk away like, we've exposed everything and stopped everything. And then the election that's happening, there's the big crux of the story happens, and the Republican wins, and the asshole becomes the president, and it completely fails. They expose the truth and nothing changes.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Like that's kind of the more accurate thing. Like this was a thing in the 90s. Like, we expose the truth and we hack the planet, it'll change everything. It doesn't work.
No,
it doesn't.
The movie's a little positive about where it
wants
to
yeah, because if you were actually honest about it, you'd be like, I don't want to watch that story because I'm literally living it right now.
Little did we know.
I want to keep the fucking dolphin.
Oh yeah, the dolphin. Jones.
That's the coolest part of the movie. Like, I think the hacking sequence is goofy, but I just only because it's not.
He looks like Grim Fandango. He literally looks like Grim Fandango with the big elongated head. It's Grim Fandango.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't put that together. He looks goofy. Whatever that like. I like that they.
Oh no, he looks like Pierce Brosnan's James Bond from GoldenEye.
Yeah,
that blocky look to him. Yeah.
It's the flow.
Only slaps. Only slaps. Only slaps.
It was reminding me of that episode of Community where the dean is trying to set up their new. It's the exact same hacking scene.
Oh my god!
I haven't thought about that in a while. Jesus.
Yeah, I think execution-wise, there I might have gone for something else, but I like the idea. Like, I like the idea of a hacking sequence. I think that could stay. Let's shift over into negatives.
Okay.
Let's talk about what's wrong with this movie.
Editing is awful. This is one of the worst edited movies I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can't argue. I can't argue. There's a scene right after the hacking sequence, actually, where she throws a grenade into the room.
Yeah.
And we get a nice explosion.
Yeah.
Like not a cheap explosion by any means.
They clearly put money into this movie.
Yeah.
And it cuts to the Yakuza boss in the car.
Shinji.
And the explosion has just happened.
Yeah.
And he's like reacting to it into a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Rough edit.
Yeah. It's you were saying it's because of bad direction, Seth, and
Yeah.
you have a
let
rant.
it rip, dude. Let it rip.
You have a rant that you want to get on. Like, go ahead.
I would go as far as to say that every aspect of this movie is very passable. Lighting crew, the set dressing, the costumes, the actors, their job is a job, right? They show up to their job and they're supposed to
Make it look good.
An actor's job is not to make good lines sound good. It is to make bad lines believable. And there are good lines in this movie, which tells me all of the awkwardness was directly out of the director into these actors.
Yeah.
We've seen all of these actors do better things.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, around this time, like Speed came out. I think like what, a year before, something like that.
And Speed, he's doing a very similar character too, where it's like a lot of really loud, over the top, like drawn out lines. I think about his monologue.
Point Break.
Point Break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like early Keanu is capable of doing this movie.
Yeah.
What a director does on a set, like we're not talking pre-production or post-production, but in production on a set, it is the director's job to make sure that the actors are delivering their lines in a way that is going to be useful to the edit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the director will pick those takes with the editor. Listener, these are the best takes that they could find.
If this is the best you had, then there's a serious problem with direction.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. This is the director's only feature film. He's done a lot of commercials. And he's done a lot of
Like TV episodes, like one-offs.
Yeah,
and
he's a visualist.
music videos as well. He did a lot of REM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and that makes sense. It makes sense that he has a really good visual eye. And it makes sense why he's here, moving from music videos into feature productions, and with a good story.
Yeah.
I can see every single decision being like green light, green light, green light. Yeah, this all looks good, and you wouldn't know it until you got to set and it's time for him to talk to an actor and get the line out that they need in the way that they need it.
Yep.
To match a tone, they are setting a tone for this movie, right? Where like Keanu Reeves' character is going through a fucked up, not only situation but like existential situation.
Yeah. He's had to delete memories in order to make space for the information he needs to be the courier for.
Right. And now the entire fate of the globe has literally fallen on his shoulders through no act of his own. Like he wasn't seeking that. He doesn't consider himself a hero. That's a complex character to like bring across, and our movie gives us this guy.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say, I get what they're trying to go for, but it drove me nuts towards the end when he has his whiny monologue. Like, I just want my bath towel robe. I just want to wake up in my bed.
I was going to make that as a positive. Him freaking the fuck out is hilarious.
I get where they're going with, but how they made him deliver it. Just
The bit's good. I love him having a breakdown. The breakdown happens right after he mentions the fact that he is tasked with this huge world-ending thing, and he goes, "All I want is to be this vapid, vain little shit."
Like,
again, I love where they went with it. It's just the execution.
Yeah, it undoes any kind of emotional connection you'd have to him, because he's just like, even if the fate of the world is on your shoulders, you're still acting like an asshole. It's like, how am I supposed to relate to you or like you?
Well, and is this the movie? Like, this is a very left-leaning movie overall.
I mean, it's kind of has to be.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to decide with the corporation that's fucking everyone over?
but like, what is this saying about people who feel this way, that are anti-corporation, anti-government involvement, that see that corporations would withhold cures to like drip feed and make profit?
I mean, we just went through that a couple years ago. We literally went through that with COVID.
And so the movie is stopping to go, and if you want to do anything about that, you should actually prefer all of the comforts of capitalism instead.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like trying to talk you out of that.
Yeah.
Because our main character, we're supposed to like agree with what he does and says, unless he's doing the wrong thing, obviously. And the movie's not trying to tell us that he's doing the wrong thing. He's here to save the girl.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's a big negative of the love story that's forced in at the very end. They shoehorn that shit in. There is no... I mean, I like both these actors, but they do not have chemistry. Yeah. They just don't.
They hate each other, and that would have been the best ending.
And yet she, like, jumps on top of him. Like, why? Like, you just spent the last, like, hour, like, treating you like shit.
If she were to jump on him, it should have been, all right, well, where's my money, bitch? Like,
yeah. It should have been like, I hate you. And then they both scream each other, yeah, well, fuck you, at the same time. Like, that's how the relationship should have come to its conclusion. Yeah. Not, they don't like each other. Like, they're just together because they rely upon each other's information.
She wants her money. He needs the protection.
Yeah, they have a mutual interest. Yeah, they don't like each other like that.
Yeah, you need a second movie. You need like
or a TV show.
Yeah, I think about like A New Hope to Empire, where like in A New Hope, there's no inkling of the Han Leia.
No,
they hate each other. Like every time they interact, it's like this is a fucking tool. You know?
Yeah.
It's not till the next movie that they hit that fuck you kind of point where it's like, oh, it's actually because they liked each other.
Yeah.
Right.
This movie does nothing to like lead us there.
No.
What's funny is you were mentioning like music video directors doing this kind of stuff. Like, remember the guy that directed Torque? Remember that guy, Joseph? Yeah. He was supposed to direct an adaptation of Neuromancer years ago.
We were robbed.
Yeah, he directed a commercial, I think, for Adidas, Nikes, or it was Adidas, Nike, one of those shoe companies, and he did it as Blade Runner. It was literally Blade Runner. It's Deckard chasing a replicant through the streets, and he's wearing a set of like Nike tennis shoes.
That's dope.
And it's just an action scene that's like excised from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It's like him chasing Zora. It's literally that scene.
That's dope.
Yeah. And it's like, why'd you do it like that? It's just because I wanted to do Blade Runner and I just like Blade Runner. And so, yeah, it's just.
Fair enough.
Seems cool.
Fair
Why not,
enough, man?
So, yeah. I mean, apparently Neuromancer is being adapted for Apple TV as a TV show right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. And Apple nails everything.
They've kind of cornered the market on like the hard sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the other companies kind of try to do that, like Netflix with the 3-body problem, but you said that show's not that great. Yeah. I like the books, but yeah, apparently the show's not great, and I haven't watched it.
That reminds me. Thank you. I need to watch the new episode of the Door Prize.
Oh.
What's the Door Prize?
So it's Chris O'Dowd, from the IT crowd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's our main character, and there's this machine, Morpho, that comes to this little rinky-dink town, and when you use it, it tells you like your life's biggest purpose, or like your life's biggest potential, and like everyone gets these potentials, and it's like this whole thing of like, well, are you living that potential because of the machine, or is it because like, so it's like this existential thing. And then in season 2 it goes more so into this thing where like self-reflection of exploring this purpose, and it's really good, guys.
Interesting.
That's literally the plot to Stephen King's Neeple Things.
Really?
Yeah, there's a guy that shows up in town and opens a shop called Neeple Things, and you walk in there and like he'll give you whatever you want, but for a price. It's a Faustian deal. Yeah.
It's a little different than that.
Well, yeah, I mean it's very similar though. But yeah, like that one's more like Satan arrives in town and like he'll give you whatever you want. This is more like if you know your future, does it change your future?
Kind of. Yeah. It's like saying here's your potential. Like it's not necessarily your future, but it's like, oh well, as a kid you wanted to be a firefighter. What if you did become one, type of deal?
Yeah.
Like
I took one of those tests in high school, and it told me I was supposed to be a lightning rod repairman.
The fuck?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, you do love your tech.
I do. I didn't even know lightning rods needed repair. I thought the whole thing was you put them up and they take the lightning.
Well, no, because they get struck by lightning, they need to be replaced.
I guess.
But wouldn't that just be a replacement, not a repair?
If I'm missing my calling, I don't feel like I'm missing my calling.
Yeah, I don't
It's
remember.
a lot more in-depth and philosophical than that.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure.
Yeah. It sounds a lot like, what was that movie, Paycheck? Remember that? It's where you have a machine, you can see one of the pathways to the future, and it changes it. I do like Aaron Eckhart jumping into the machine, realizing he blows up in the next 10 seconds. He tries to run away, and he then blows up. That was pretty good. Yeah. The only good part of that whole movie.
I don't know. I like the scene in the diner where he's like dropped clues for himself to get out of the situation.
Wasn't that on Film Rescue at one point? We just decided not to do it because we just said this is the worst John Woo movie. We don't want to suffer through it.
Oh, I don't remember if it was ever on the list. I mean,
I don't remember.
I would do a John Woo, but
we could just do Mission Impossible 2. I'd be happier with that.
that would be more fun. And then we'd have an excuse to talk about that train wreck of a series.
Yeah, literally the train wreck of the last movie. It crawls to a train wreck, and we have to remind you why Mission Impossible 2 is somehow important. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Johnny Mnemonic.
See, this is what happens when we don't like the movie.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered the direction is kind of shit. This is a great example of directors needing to know how to get the performance that they need.
Yeah.
There's also like a little plot issue. That one thing I want to point out.
Oh yeah, no, I'd love
Yeah,
to.
no,
So,
please.
so why doesn't Dolph Lundgren like help Johnny because Johnny has a cure in his head? So would he want to help him?
I like the presentation that in the future religion's just evil. I like.
Cool.
I
Okay,
like that.
I'm fine with that. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah, there's not really much else. I mean, I basically just said, like, yeah, just watch the movie Upgrade, better version of the story.
There's
Just
so many times I
Yes.
thought of Upgrade while watching. This.
yeah, it's yeah. It's,
Or even like Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell, yeah. Didn't they come out 94, 93, something like that? I want to say
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell was right around here.
it was right around this time. Yeah, this was hot on everybody's mind. Like, what's the future going to be? We're approaching the millennium.
96. This was before Ghost in the Shell.
Oh my God! Well, did this inspire Ghost? Don't tell me this.
No, because Ghost
Oh,
in
because
the
the
Shell,
manga was out before that. That's right.
Well, it was the manga, but also back then they hand drew every cell of animation.
So they were
It
probably
went
in
into production like
same,
93.
yeah, same time.
It was already been well into production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody had their images of the future. And
Yeah.
this market really tapped out. I feel like we kind of hit an edge where people don't. The only way people want to talk about this topic is like in a Black Mirror sense. And people are less interested in like these fantastical future worlds.
Yeah.
Like I think about Westworld. And the whole issue with that show is they lean too hard into the realism. It's like, it's so realistic. It's like, this future looks boring.
Because it's just our world.
Yeah.
Like, what's the most futuristic tech that we have in this room? The fucking phones.
Yeah.
You can access any information right now. I can look up anything on Wikipedia, or I can download any porn that I want. It's like, that's the thing. Like, because you have access to this stuff all through your phone, it's less and less interesting when you see it on screen.
Yeah.
Because it's so
We
commonplace.
talked
now.
about this in like why James Bond is becoming less prevalent is because back in the 60s with James Bond they
It
had
felt
all the
futuristic.
new tech.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, well, we got it all.
Anytime we come up with new tech, it's like either these world-ending, hard to
Nanotech, like
Yeah.
so, like it's so small that it's just
Yeah.
like it's not even like that's why the most recent James Bond movies like we're moving away from the tech, like Skyfall. What's the most impressive thing he gets? A gun with a fingerprint identification on it.
Yeah.
That's the most impressive thing, and he loses it right away.
Right.
It's like it doesn't even fire the gun.
Yeah, they couldn't even Judge Dredd that shit and like make a murder happen with James Bond's finger gun.
That's probably the future that I think is more interesting. Just like the Judge Dredd universe of like, yeah, there's all this advertising all over the place, and cops are just like murderers, and it's like that's the more realistic version.
I
Like,
even find that one to land in the fantasy future.
well, yeah, that gun can't exist. That's physically impossible.
Yeah, and that's what gives it so much flavor. I think
Yeah.
it's the flavor that's missing. Like even Johnny Mnemonic feels like a Fallout style thing where it's like, what if technology had peaked in the 80s
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
just stopped.
and
yeah.
stopped there, and so the future happened. We're now in 2021, but all the tech just paused.
Yeah.
In the 80s. It's a great visual setup.
Look at Alien or Aliens. Like it's all CRT monitors. We don't use CRT monitors anymore. But the new movie that's coming out is sticking with that
Yeah.
because they tried to get away from that with the Prometheus and Alien Covenant. It's like this doesn't look like those movies. They're supposed to be prequels, right? So
Right.
why does it look like there's holograms all over the place when that wasn't in the previous movie? So Romulus is just ignoring all that. It's like going back to the stuff that works.
Yeah.
I am excited for that one too. That director is just
And that takes place between Alien and Aliens, so it's meant to be right in the middle. So they wouldn't have holograms. They wouldn't have that
I'm
stuff.
so looking forward to that movie. Like the
Yeah.
trailers, holy shit,
we
so
will
good.
have a two whatevers episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Are we going to be talking about God anymore? Is David still out there doing his weird shit? Is he?
Who
Sure.
cares?
Who cares?
Face huggers.
Who cares? I don't give a shit. Great.
Give me the creatures.
Yeah, I'm glad they abandoned all that crap. Just it's so pompous. I just got so sick of it.
Thank you for reminding me of my least favorite part of this movie. It happens 3 times, and the first time it happens is to our Yakuza boss again, Shinji. Or not Shinji, Shinji's boss. The one that makes fun of him for not knowing Japanese very well.
Yeah.
Gets haunted by Cortana.
So you...
Did they ever explain who that's supposed to be?
That was...
Is it Jones? Is it Jones that's doing that?
That was his wife, or daughter... I'm one of his family members.
It'd be nice if they made this explicitly clear.
Yeah, they do at the end. One of his family members died of
the NAS.
Okay,
and they had the cure at the time, but the company covered it up, and they had copied her brain into the memory.
Okay, so they scan her into. That's the Neuromancer thing. That's the ending of Neuromancer. Is that the main villain of that story? He wants to exist forever in a digital space, so he downloads his own brain into what's essentially the web, the internet, and his response to how he'll actually succeed is every telephone will ring all across the world. And it happens at the end. The bad guy wins in Neuromancer, basically. And they copy that in Lawnmower Man. I don't know why Lawnmower Man is literally just a copy of Neuromancer. It's the same fucking story. It has nothing to do with the Stephen King story, to the point where Stephen King actually filed a lawsuit to remove his name from the movie.
Really?
It has nothing to do with his short story. Nothing. It's just the title. So the ending of that movie is that Job, Jeff Fahey's character, literally downloads his brain into the internet, escapes, and every telephone across the world rings. Bad guy wins. That's the same situation here, so it's like an extension of that.
Is Neo answering that phone at the end of The Matrix? Is that
Dun,
Matrix
dun,
trying to communicate with the ending of that movie to be like he's answering the call? This is the end of the fear of the internet age is ending as we realize this is just our digital frontier.
Yeah, this is just the next evolution. We're just going to exist in a digital space after this.
Yeah. The Wachowskis never let me down. They fucking never let me down.
Oh no, they did. It was the fourth one.
I go to bat for I would watch the fourth one before I watch the third one.
Okay, yeah. You know what?
That's a fair point.
Good point. We never really did completely fix that when we did it. We just kind of ran in circles. We're like, we don't know how to fix it.
At least the fourth one has NPH.
Yeah.
It's fair.
The third one is fixed by saying that Zion is inside of the Matrix. Come on, guys. Obviously,
Matrix in a Matrix. You thought you escaped, so you didn't get out.
And then it makes everything make sense. It makes sense why Agent Smith's able to leave the Matrix because they were never actually in one. And
okay, that makes sense. That's right.
The Cortana thing, I get it. It can stay. I just don't like the execution, and I don't like that it's a Deus Ex Machina essentially. Like to just there's no reason that Johnny can't find out this information on his own. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's no reason for it to be there.
Yeah.
I hate that her face was the last photo of the code too.
Yeah, why?
Of all the things, why is
somebody
her
would notice
face,
that?
the thing that keeps popping up constantly is the
right.
What?
Yeah, and then she's talking to him in English.
Yeah, it's isn't it supposed to be the director of that company and he's Japanese? Shouldn't she be speaking Japanese? I mean, I guess just because she's in the internet, she has access to everything.
I guess maybe a new face, new download.
This is your digital self. I guess. That's awful. A Japanese woman wants to imagine herself as a white woman. That's fucked up.
Oh, it's the reverse Scarlett Johansson.
Oh no!
Wrap it right back to Ghost in the Shell.
God damn it, man!
I'm looking at the cover of the Scarlett Johansson Ghost in the Shell because that's what I do for the year.
God.
Oh no!
Thank Christ, I never made a sequel to that.
We don't need one.
We don't need one.
Speaking of Japanese films, our Yakuza boss was in the film Battle Royale.
That's right. Yeah.
They really like to cast him as a motherfucker, though.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, who's the guy that keeps showing up in everything? He was in John Wick 4. He was just in Shogun. What the hell is that guy's name? He was Scorpion in Mortal Kombat. What the hell is that guy's?
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Shit, starts with an H.
No.
I'm looking it up.
Thank you. We all have computers in front of us.
Yes. And yet I'm using my Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah.
He's in everything now. Dude, he's in everything.
He's so hot right now.
Yeah.
So hot.
He's been around for 40 years.
No, but he's been a Japanese icon since he was.
Oh yeah. He was in The Ring. He was in the original Ring.
No, but I'm saying like he's been a Japanese icon since he started filmmaking when he was like 10.
Wow.
So he's been around for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
Not just for like what we Americans know, but like in Japanese film, he's been acting since he was like 8 or 9 or some shit.
Damn.
What else do we not like about this movie? Your first watch, Hope. What was the first take you out of the movie moment?
The biggest thing was honestly just how we've already said this, the whole execution of the lines. Like, we all know these actors can do so much better. Yeah. But if we're gonna talk something aside from that, I'd probably say it would have to be, I think, again, the biggest thing would be like the code. Like, why is this code when you have like these physical things? If you're in the system, why do you have like physical codes? And not even just like,
I think it's just what they thought the future was going to be. They weren't thinking ahead.
I'm not even saying like if it was like in a USB or in a floppy, but it was literally photos on paper that they were burning.
I guess it's meant to
like the codes to get.
I guess
to the
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's meant to bury the information so deep in your brain you don't even have access, because he doesn't really know what he has.
Correct.
It's buried in his cerebral
Right.
cortex, so he doesn't even know what he has till they point it out to him. Which begs the question: how is it that somebody just scans his brain and they know what it is without the code? And it doesn't matter.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
I see what you're saying.
It should be like a floppy or this that they plug back into him. Not, well, let's match up the pieces of paper and
it's meant to trigger a memory or trigger the information to release, like a time lock or something like that. Or hey, put a little spike that goes in the back of his head and it goes into his brain. Hey, that's the little thing that happened about 4 years later.
Right.
Could have done that. They could have, like, why is it that they don't just do that? Why is it that they don't have like wires coming out of people's bodies and like shit like jacking into people's brains? Like,
for how violent the rest of the movie can get, that lightsaber whip thing.
Yeah.
Get like 3 decapitations in this movie.
yeah, the shit that literally gets ripped off in Cyberpunk. That's one of the best weapons in the game. Yeah, hell yeah, that's one of the best.
I
weapons
wanted
in the
to
game.
see more of that.
That was cool. That was like little things like that, little tech things. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, it's just unfortunate it's in this movie.
No, yeah, like the idea, the function of the idea here is excellent. The form,
Yeah.
not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's confusing why you would need.
Also, it feels. It's just me. This is probably another negative. Does it feel like the whole movie takes place within the span of like 3 square blocks? Because it's like they find the low techs, they leave them, they go to see Henry Rollins, then they go to see the corporate guys, then they come back to see Ice-T again. It's like this tiny little section of town. It's like you have a big world out there, and you never venture out into it. We're told there's a big world out there.
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel like it's a big
think
world.
It's because we started in Beijing, and they're like everything's happening in Newark, so they had to stay confined to the city because everything was happening in Newark. But it also made it more confining because the whole thing was these rich upper class corporate people versus homeless people, basically. Mm-hmm. So it's either one or the other. There's no like, let's go to the suburbs, and I think they limited themselves because of that. So I see what you're saying, but it's because they basically just limited themselves.
Yeah, it is based on a short story, so it's not a full length narrative.
Well, and transportation's just really not a big. They walk through a subway tunnel without there being a subway there.
Yeah, they never explain how they get from point A to point B, except for like Spider's van. That's
it.
To
their final destination.
Every time
walking.
One actor said it, I was like, Spider-Man. Like, I knew they were saying van, but I never heard van. I just heard Spider-Man.
I just had a thought, Henry Rollins as old Peter Parker would be great.
Ooh, wow. Love it.
Like grizzled old Peter Parker, like everyone in his family's dead, Mary Jane's dead, and it's like, I just hate the world
old
now.
man Parker.
He plays the version of Peter Parker that gave Mary Jane cancer.
Oh, God. Why do you love to bring that up?
It's because they made it canon, man. Like, there's no oversight. They just made that shit canon.
What was that called? What was it? One More Day or something like that? Was that what it's called? Yeah, it was like where like Satan himself shows up.
It's Mephisto.
Yeah.
Who the fuck
he was
cares?
here the whole time.
I'm sure.
You mean it wasn't Agatha all along?
How many name changes has that show gone through at this point?
What is that?
We're on a great track for Phase 5, guys.
What is that show going to be? That's one of those things that, like, did they just greenlight it because they had that actor and she's excellent, and it's like, we have to do something with this?
We have to pay her. We have her under contract. We have to pay her anyways. Let's make a show.
The criteria for spinoff over there, I can't figure it out. I can't.
No, I don't. I gave up. I gave up.
I haven't watched anything Marvel related since Guardians 3. Except, I'm going to watch X-Men now because it's the best thing.
I will force you.
It's all out now. I was waiting for
I
was waiting for the season to drop so I can just binge the whole thing because I don't do the weekly releases because I just don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't have the time for 30 minutes per week, but I'm going to sit down and watch 6 hours
now that
worth of content at once.
Now that I have 5 days off from work and I've been working almost every day for the last month.
Seth, it's the anime conundrum again, where he's like, I'm going to watch a full season of this, but I won't watch a 15-episode anime.
It's how my brain works.
Thing.
It's how my brain works.
I get it, though. I can't... extra long series that have, like, hour-long episodes, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to commit to this yet.
I remember years ago...
only 6 hours, and I would spend the same amount of time with an anime.
I remember years ago I was trying to watch that Voltron show that was on Netflix, and I watched the first episode. It took me like 3 sittings to get through the first episode because it's like an hour and 20 minutes. I was like, fuck off.
Jesus, starting with a movie.
Well, it's Voltron. Like, who cares? Yeah. It was well animated. It's just the pacing is just so sluggish. Yeah. Even Dice Art, I mentioned to him, I was like, this first episode's not bad, but it takes a while to get through. And he said, it took me 3 settings to get through it too.
Yeah.
Even he agreed it's not the best editing.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, let's go back to the mnemonics over here. I think we're ready to maybe start pitching.
I think so.
We keep the plot overall as is. Johnny's going to get way too much data uploaded into his head. It's going to be life-threatening. It will have the cure to NAS. I'm fine with that. I think we do like declutter the setup a little bit. The multi-picture thing is weird, and especially it's the wet wired part that I really like. I wonder if we can't do like liquid data. Like maybe that's part of why that maybe the data like encircles your brain. And so it's not actually in your brain.
It's not really nanotech, but it's in
kind of like cerebral spinal fluid.
Yeah.
So to say,
like a data like housing data within something like that. So it gets injected, in behind his ear up into his brain. And that's why they're super careful about the head, and we don't have to change any of that.
Look, if you can run Doom on the human DNA chain, you can actually do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You see that? Somebody able to run Doom on the human DNA chain?
Oh my God.
We have little.
But can it run Doom? You can run it on a pregnancy test. Can it run Doom?
1,300 potatoes. Will it Doom?
Will it Doom?
It will.
That is the peak of human progress right there.
Look,
folks.
this is what we do with our spare time when we run out of things to build. Like, can it run Doom?
We could have a little aside in the movie where he like runs into somebody who's like all spaced out, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, man, I'm playing Doom." And there's no computer around; it's just like playing in his head.
That's another thing that's like little tech additions that, I mean, I guess you can kind of upgrade this. I mean, heck,
I was just gonna say, you mean an upgrade?
Yeah. Like contact lens computers. That's a product that's in development right now. Like the idea that the computer is literally in your eye and you just blink in order to you look around, you blink as a means of choosing things. Yeah. Although it'd be really weird to be sitting on the subway and somebody's watching porn and they're getting a giant erection.
Well, it's also the Black Mirror episode where there's like a programming in your eyes where
the Toby Kebbell episode where he records his memories.
It records every single thing.
That's a fucked up episode.
But then we won't get Keanu Reeves' big silver glasses.
Yeah, with the power gauntlet glove.
That's actually the I think that is one of the covers to Neuromancer. That's the cover. Like it's just a giant helmet on the main character's head. That's cool. Yeah, I think his name is what's his character's name? Henry Case is his name.
The visuals in the movie, like I'm not doubting, and like all.
It's got interesting design to it. It's just the way it's done is just it's.
I was getting RoboCop vibes when he did that.
Yeah, it feels like when he puts on the helmet in the original RoboCop. Yeah, it feels like that.
Have you guys ever seen the interview? We keep bringing up like Star Wars and George Lucas. Have you seen the interviews?
It's Star Wars month, where it's on our minds.
Right. Luke. Mark Hamill's talking about unreadable lines that Luke Skywalker had.
No, yeah. I think I've seen this interview.
This movie has maybe my favorite version of that, where he calls out all the equipment he needs for the hat.
Oh, yeah.
It's just this insane list of tech gobbledygook.
Oh, God. It's like reminding me of whenever I'm at work and somebody is like asking for 5 separate things to be done. I'm like, dude, just give me one thing and let me finish that, and then I'll get the rest of it for you. It's like, I'm not going to remember all this shit.
Dude, thankless job. He had to memorize those lines, and then he had to execute them as asked.
Well, they do cut away from him, so I have a feeling he was reading a cue card. I have a feeling they were doing that.
Yeah, but he still had to pronounce it correctly.
It's true. It's true.
What does any of this mean? I don't know. Fucking this one's the LAN, and I don't want to just say modem. I don't want to say PC.
What kind of modem?
Give me the gigawatts.
Right. What the hell is a flux capacitor?
I do love the fact that in order to make a long distance phone call, he has to hack into the internet. Now you can just do this on your phone. Just like it costs nothing.
Beijing has their own loading screen. For the entire city, they have their own built.
It's so not how this works.
If only they had the dial-up AOL sound going in the background.
Oh Christ!
Right.
Oh man! What if he gets into the internet? Just porn pop-ups just show up all over the fucking screen.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Big Daddy.
Jesus.
I have the ad-free experience.
Yeah. God damn. Yeah. But if you did it the way it's done in the real world, it'd be boring. It's just him sitting in front of a screen, and it's boring. There was a show that happened on AMC. It was back when AMC was starting out doing their television branding stuff, and it was a show called Rubicon, and it was a guy's name? John Badge Dale. He was one of the guys that was in Iron Man 3. He was one of the goons.
Okay.
And it was basically about this guy that was a big conspiracy theorist. He's working in a newspaper, and it's him finding clues to an actual conspiracy, but it's a thing he finds in a crossword puzzle. Something that's so uninteresting,
Okay.
but that's the problem with the show, is that all that stuff is really uninteresting, and it got canceled after 1 season.
Damn.
So that's the problem, is that it's not extravagant enough to keep you engaged.
Yeah.
That's why Deus was only a mini-series.
Yeah, it was 8 episodes.
Or Devs, I'm sorry.
Devs.
Devs.
Well, it is.
Well, Deus,
it is
yeah.
Deus. It is.
I hadn't thought about that before. You can re-spell that word to look.
He points it out in the show. It's the Roman V that turns into a U. It's Deus. The machine is literally God.
We need to do a rewatch on that series.
We were supposed to do a whole thing on it. We never did. Yeah.
We need to do See, now that we're switching out of seasonal, that's one podcast just for devs.
Yes. Devs. And I want to do a Legion thing,
Beautiful.
Legion would be another good one.
Yes.
I don't know about doing MASH. I know that's so off topic from this, but I think a MASH rewatch
Dude,
in 2024.
Dude, it's 9 seasons.
So?
Okay.
Or we could just do the movie.
We'll just do the movie, too.
You throw the movie in there, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Throw it in.
Robert Altman hated the show because he said it was racist, and he's not technically wrong. So.
Oh, no. Do we cancel MASH? I feel like we need a new MASH, because MASH was all about...
Came out in the
dealing
70s, fuck it. Who gives a shit? Don't fucking be that person, man.
The world was hard to deal with back then, and people dealt with it with MASH. We need that now.
God damn.
The world's hard to deal with now.
Yeah.
Bring back the knee high.
So we had mentioned earlier trying to get Dolph Lundgren into more of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of an idea, and it borrows a little bit from True Detective.
Which season?
First season.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. All the time travel stuff in the latest season.
Oh, what the fuck?
My thought was, what if instead of him being picked up by the Yakuza initially for the download, it is Dolph Lundgren, and they're hiding the cure behind religious data that has government protection to not be looked at.
So the government and the religious sector are directly connected to each other?
Yeah.
You mean
Kind of.
how they are now?
It's like how it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they're paying him off to transport their data behind, digital closed doors, digital firewalls, where the government stepped in to protect religious figures. So initially he presents as a hero because he looks like an action guy, right?
Yeah.
And then you have this slow switch over to show he's just a religious nut job. And,
Okay.
and getting all the upgrade, he's spending what should be money for the church on upgrades for himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actual preachers now that do
Exactly.
a Joel Osteen type that actually just takes all of his congregation's money to buy himself another fucking Lamborghini.
Hey, but the monster truck is for God.
Because then we can switch it, and at the end, instead of them blowing up the Pharmatech building, which we're saying is a little too...
Blow up the church!
I say take over the church. All the people that we see in that like old cathedral, when they're like showing the effects of NAS, all of those people get moved into a nice church facility to end the movie, where it's like, oh, this instead of it taking down corporations, it takes down the church rights to like have their information hidden, and just it's all like pedophilia and like all that kind of stuff. And so all of the homeless people from the NAS stuff just take over the church buildings.
Or like, I mean, you could do it like it is now. Like if you like we said, exposing the truth is not going to actually change anything.
Sure.
Expose it to them, and like half the congregation bails out, and half of them is kind of like, well, pedophilia, love is just love. Like, it's like that. You've seen those videos of those assholes that support Trump that will say like, yeah, we'll defend that. Absolutely, they will go to bat for that, dude. Like, what if the congregation just starts fighting with each other and they kill each other off?
Ooh, so end it like the Kingsman movie.
End it like Kingsman. The whole church just starts killing each other. And then the way in which the movie ends, Johnny burns the church.
Okay.
There you go. He doesn't burn down the corporation because you can't stop that. He just burns down the church.
That's dark. That's real dark.
Hey, is it any darker than the movie that we got?
No, the movie's very dark. I agree.
I dig it.
Yeah.
If by doing this, we've also excised the need for Cortana in the system.
Yeah, just that can go. That can go.
I want to find a reason to keep Jones, and I like the movie tried to explain why he was able to access the information.
Human-animal hybrids?
No, it's because back during the Cold War, they would actually use like dolphins and whales because of their sonar capabilities to spy on the Americans. And so they were basically doing that in a more tech sense.
Yeah. Didn't they use dolphins as a means of like detecting mines in the
Yeah. And the Russians would train these dolphins in order to do that. So basically they were saying is they rescued Jones from the Russians because they were using him for same shit but with tech.
Yeah.
So now my theory is if we want to keep Jones, he's the only one who can successfully maybe decode the religious stuff from the Cure and like unscramble it from each other.
Ooh, like
and that's why you'd have to like go through and bypass through Jones because while you're getting it, he's unscrambling it.
I like that. What if like it was coded in a way to prevent people from looking at it?
Right.
Yeah.
And this is their loophole. It's like actually a dolphin's like connection into the digital world is different than a person's.
Yeah.
So and I like the idea that water beats fire. It's like your firewalls won't work underwater.
Yeah.
Like the digital underwater.
Well, that's like I was saying, the human-animal hybrid thing. There's You ever read that comic book Elephant Man? You ever read that?
No, but all I think about is Full Metal Alchemist, and I don't want to think about that.
Well, anyways, they mentioned there's a war that happened in this movie. Never really see a war. It mentioned whatever. Elephant Man is basically about how there's a giant war that happens across. It's like World War III, and so in order to create better soldiers, they have human-animal hybrids. Like the main character is a giant hippopotamus, but he walks upright like a person, and and so they have these. It's a really dark series. They go to like a war memorial where like all these human animal. It's like the war memorial for Vietnam in DC where it's it's a really good series. I think it's long out of print, unfortunately. I think it was Richard Starking was the writer on it.
Dude,
it's really well done, and it's. I encourage everybody to read it if you can find copies of it. There's racism against human animal hybrids, and there's one character that's like a tech giant now that was in the war serving with the main character. He has like a human wife. He's a rhinoceros.
Oh my god!
It's really weird, because they say that their intellect is higher than other people because their brains are larger.
Okay.
So you could have like if you want to actually access it yourself without having to go through an intermediary like Jones, you just get like animal implants into your body.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get mechanical implants. You can probably get like animal implants.
Yeah,
I guess.
Why not?
I mean, why not?
South Park did it.
We already, like you were saying in a previous episode.
So you're a Jufin.
Like you were saying in a previous episode, like they're growing human ears on mice.
Yeah.
Like can it go the opposite direction?
I was more so thinking like when Kyle's dad becomes a dolphin, he's like he's a lawfin. That's where I was going.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh my god,
that's funny. That you said Full Metal Alchemist because I know you're thinking of the little girl, but actually, the end of the series, the boys end up with a like troop of government chimeras.
Oh
with,
yeah,
like, a lion guy, a porcupine guy, a gorilla guy, and some other big animal, and they're like pro the cause of taking down the government because they were put into this chimera program and then just fucked off. Like the government just left them as monsters.
Yeah.
There's no cure for chimerism.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and the same thing
You
with
can't undo it.
like how they would transmute the souls into like just empty shells of armor as well. Like same thing, yeah.
Or into the bodies of biological zombies.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The finale's so fucking good, dude. I'm telling you. You will never guess the left field of that. The Earth has a soul, and it's a kaiju.
Wasn't that the plots of that Shin Godzilla sequel that never happened?
Maybe we'll get it someday.
I highly...
You see the work on Godzilla -1's sequel?
Oh.
I'm trying not to spoil myself.
I'm gonna try and go into that cold because I like the first one so much.
Fair. I won't do that to you then. Okay, yeah, I like our
Is it called Godzilla -2?
I hope so.
They haven't released a name. That's all I know.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like the idea of keeping the religious guy as like a more running thing in this. Is there any other changes that we want to make?
Other than the director.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a director that was hot in the '90s that really would have done something with this. I like this.
I mean, the Wachowskis were around. They did. What was it? What was that movie they did with Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon?
Yeah.
What was it called? Bound. That was right. I want to say that was like '96.
That sounds right.
Let's see who
Was
was.
that their first feature?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's their first one.
Yeah, young Wachowskis, I could see crushing this. We'd get good line reads, anyways. Jan
de Bont did Speed. Maybe get him.
I could see that.
Maybe.
Oh, then we could bring Dennis Hopper over. Make him one of the businessmen.
I'm looking up.
I guess he's playing Bowser at this time, isn't he?
Oh, I got it. Paul Verhoeven. Total Recall.
Shut up.
That done. It's done.
Johnny Mnemonic.
It's done.
Because then all of the ads in universe can be like RoboCop ads.
You can add like that's what's missing in this movie. Satire.
Yes.
It's a silly commercial satire. How ridiculous it is. Then you can buy it a lot better because then you can laugh at it.
Yeah.
That's what's missing. Like the movie, for as silly as it is, there's no sense of humor.
It's because
very dry.
Like, everything in the background was just like very political, I feel, and that's why
It's really hammering that shit down your throat. And it's like, I get it.
So,
if you put this out now, everyone would just be like, yeah, I get it. We're living in this right now.
Oh yeah, it's almost cute to watch.
Yeah, it's adorable. it's adorable. You thought you were going to change the world.
I have a question. I was going to ask it earlier. Maybe this is a good send-off question. So we all agree this is not the best example of these actors acting.
No.
Who got the memo the best? Like, who do you think's performance matches the movie that we got in a way where you're like, did you know this was going to suck? Did you understand maybe a little bit? Because my submission's Ice Cube.
Ice-T?
Ice-T.
Yeah, Ice-T.
Well, Ice Cubes go in Ice-T.
No, honestly, you and I are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I think Ice-T.
He gets so much of the lore dumping in his like. There's an entire sequence where he's explaining another character.
The whole ending of the movie hinges on him explaining what's happened in the plot up to that point.
Yeah, it's kind of thankless, but his character feels like it matches the movie. Like
I just realized something. His character, it's the same as his character from Tank Girl.
I've never seen Tank Girl.
What?
It's the same character. He's just not a dog.
He plays a dog in Tank
Girl. It's a human animal hybrid. He plays like a walking dog, and it's Tank Girl's boyfriend.
Really?
Yep.
Wild.
That's quite a movie.
I thought it was kangaroo.
Oh, it's kangaroo. It's kangaroo. Yeah, it's kangaroo. Yeah, it's not a dog. It's kangaroo.
Yeah, I got weirder. You guys are saying that. Oh yeah, that's right.
It's kangaroo. Tank Girl's a hell of a movie. It's a hell of a movie.
Hey, my man's in it.
I know.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Oh,
he plays the villain who. What is it? He's trying to steal water.
Yeah. So the whole thing is he's killing people because they're made out of mostly water.
Yeah.
And he sucks the water out of people and they die, and then he gets clean drinking water out of a human body.
He's literally just a Fremen going crazy.
Yeah, we have a serial killer problem.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I'd connect Dune and Tank Girl, but here we are. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank Herbert.
Shared DNA somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Johnny Mnemonic, man, what a time! I really.
It's not the worst movie. I would say watch it one time at least.
Oh yeah, I mean this for me falls into so bad it's good.
It's got good stuff in it. You know, it's got good look to it. It's just those performances are not great and the editing's bad.
Yeah, let me rephrase. So badly directed, it's good.
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
There's a real movie underneath of here, like holding up what is
the foundation is great. It's just the
walls need some soundproofing.
Yeah. I'd recommend that. I'd recommend reading Transmetropolitan if you can deal with Warren Ellis being a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
God, what a pig.
Or the Elephant Men. That sounds good.
Elephant Men, yeah. I think it's all complete. It's all done. I think it was only like 60 issues. It wasn't that long of a series. I mean, most series go over like 120, 150 issues. It was only like 60. It's not long. Yeah. So it's pretty short.
Crazy. Any other thoughts on Johnny Mnemonic before we close the book on this chapter?
Was this the beginning of the end of the beginning of the downfall of Keanu Reeves' career where he started doing a lot of crap? Except for The Matrix. The Matrix was the good one, and then he did like a lot of like just junk.
Yeah,
or was that the mid 2000s?
I'm trying to think of like what his junk movies are.
Day of the Earth Stood Still.
Oh, okay. So
was it the 2000s?
Yeah,
the Lake House.
Later aughts, early 2000s.
Yeah, Lake House. Yeah, let's take a look.
Yeah, it was definitely like post Matrix, pre current John Wick resurgence. Yeah. He had like he's got good movies in there, but then he's got like a downturn as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking him up right now. Keanu Reeves, IMDb.
Open link in new tab.
Come on, you're here somewhere.
And things and stuff is happening.
Things and stuff is happening. Yeah. But yeah, there was a big swath where he was just doing a lot of just junk, and it just... He did a movie called The Watcher. You ever heard about this? He plays a serial killer.
No.
It's not good. He actually did not want to do it. There's a book that came out that I can't remember the guy's name. He's a journalist that wrote a book about him. It's not sanctioned by Keanu Reeves. It's more of like an analysis from the outsider's perspective of his career. And he got tasked to do that film, The Watcher, because somebody had forged his signature onto a contract.
Whoa.
And so he was stuck doing it, and he didn't want to do it. So yeah, he didn't want to play the bad guy. I don't think he's ever played an actual villain in a film, except for that one movie.
Have you not seen Man of Tai Chi?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about the Man of Tai Chi. Yeah, that's right. He does play the villain in that film. That's
that was his
right.
Directorial debut too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's a better director.
He's not a bad director. He's pretty good. Yeah.
They have good line reads in that movie. I'll put it that way.
I don't like when he. Well, right, Replicas. He technically plays the villain in Replicas.
True. That is true.
Let's see here. Let's see. This time, Johnny Mnemonic. Okay, never mind. This is in the middle of a good time frame. Walk in the Clouds. That's okay. Speed, Little Buddha. Yeah. Much Ado About Nothing. Okay. These are.
Just go and look up his IMDb, people. We don't need a list read.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 90s were good to him.
They were pretty good. It's once you get to Matrix Reloaded, then it all falls.
For a minute.
Yeah. There's Scanner Darkly's in there. Something's Got to Give is in there, but for the most part, there's a lot of junk.
Oh, we should throw Scanner Darkly on too. Whatever. So that would be a good one.
Well, the Richard Linklater is apparently a huge piece of shit. He's one of those right wing people that thinks that the World Trade Center collapse was a government conspiracy to create a police state. He's one of those people.
I don't understand how you could argue with that. We are literally living in a police state.
I'm saying that he thinks the government did it.
How they did do it.
No, I'm saying like he thinks that they flew the planes into the buildings.
We hired the people who flew the planes into the buildings. Osama bin Laden worked for the CIA. Was radicalized.
Where was this information?
Was radicalized against us. Got a group together. He worked for us.
Guys, I'm just going to say, I'm going off of 48 hours no sleep. I came from work.
Yeah, I don't have time for a political debate like this.
We're landing this ship.
Oh, jeez.
We're here, guys. We're together.
Thanks for watching the Film Rescue Show. Subscribe to the YouTube. Check out the Patreon. We have merch in the links below. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.